Trisha. Hey, Lauren. Good to see you guys. And Doggy. All right, let's do the icebreaker question. How often do you tell your past clients that you're grateful for them? Drop it in the chat. I'm curious how often you guys are telling your past clients that you are grateful for them. Once in a thank you card after we close. That's more than most agents, so already doing good. About you, Trisha? Drop it in the chat. How often do you tell your past clients? Dana says after closing and over the holidays. Okay, so two times. I like it. Kristen, Diane. What about you guys? Dana, not enough. Justin, after closing with the card. Okay. I like the after closings. Those are good. Yeah. We got some more people coming in. Trisha, did you already put it in the chat? I didn't see. Kristen says 2 to 3 times a year after closing, of course, holidays and a random check in to my favorite clients. Do you have a lot of favorite clients? Diane, did you put yours in there yet? I didn't see. Oh, there it is. Mostly sellers who move away. So you're like, oh, they're gone. Okay, well, I should tell them I'm thankful for them. Kristen, they're all my favorite. Well, that's very sweet of you. All my clients are not all my favorite for sure. Um, I definitely have preferences. No worries, Trisha. If you're trying to unmute yourself, Trisha, you can't unmute yourself on my calls. We have that feature off. So if that's one of the issues, no, that's not an issue. That's just the way we have the settings to help protect the chaos of the call. Yeah, let's see. I mean, I've done lots of different thank yous. Definitely after closing, I've done thank you cards, videos, things like that, just to test them out and see if any of them kind of resonate at a deeper level. I definitely do thank yous around Thanksgiving and Christmas time. That's pretty that's pretty normal for me. And then I typically will have like a schedule of random thank yous and gratitudes. It actually comes up a lot just because I thank God all the time for what he gives me on a daily basis. And so naturally clients come into that, right? And in fact, when I get the rev shares, for those of you who are in our downline and stuff, you know this, like we get this little notification that says like Chris Rains just earned. And I always go to God and I'm like, God, thank you for providing for Chris Rains' family. Thank you that he works hard. Thank you that he does these things. And I even say the specific dollar amount that I get. And I'm like, I'm really thankful for this. So it helps a lot with that. Let's see. I did a Halloween. Is that a misspelling or am I just not sure what that is, Diane? A doc peg? Decoupage? French? Is that right? It's okay. I just wanted to make sure that I'm there's lots of fun things that people do that I'm totally unaware of. And so they'll be like, yeah, this thing. Like I'm so out of the loop. I don't get the whole 6 or 7 thing that I've been seeing everywhere. Even Walt Key is doing it, and I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm nobody's explaining it. It's just there, and I'm supposed to know what it means, right? Seminar on buying a condo. That's fun. Yeah, I love it. Okay, we're six after now, so let's get into it. So today we're gonna just really get into some follow-up ideas for Thanksgiving. I thought that this would be helpful for you because Thanksgiving's kind of coming right up. So I wanted to give you guys something really simple and really easy to do. So if you're wanting holiday follow-up that actually gets responses and like gets people engaged, or you're looking for something different from the usual holiday pop buys, for instance, pies are so common giving out pies. I actually don't really like giving out food that spoils. It's a lot of logistics. It's a lot of money. Um, it's a lot of coordination. And I've also found that a lot of times people just don't care. They don't care about the expense that it went in to get these pies, and they'll say they'll show up and then they don't. And so I like ones that I can control a little bit more, that like they're going to get it whether they like it or not type of scenario. So maybe if you're looking for something a little bit different, and then you want options that can be repurposed and you can scale them. When I typically think of follow up, I'm always thinking of how can I scale this and like continue to grow on this. That's a big, big thing for me because the assumption is that my business will continue to grow, not decline, which means I need to be able to replicate this. All right. So that's why we're going to get into Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about social media and email and a personal touch. So I'm going to give you three quick ideas. This should be a short call today, actually, unless we get a lot of questions, which are so welcome. But you know what? I just realized I didn't put on the rules of engagement. So videos on, guys. Let's get those videos on. Okay. We are here to support one another. And I see Chris enough, right? So I need more faces. Chris sees me enough. We need more faces. There's Barbara. There we go. There's Dana. Look at that. See, it's already, it doesn't look how much more fuller. Doesn't it just feel better now that we're here together, right? Now it feels like there's actually people here and I'm not just talking to everybody's note takers, you know? Yeah, so you're here. Okay. Number two is get those distractions off. Okay. I try really hard to drive value for you. So if you need to set some to turn the phone, I wouldn't turn my phone off personally, so I get that, but I do flip it over so that I don't see the screen light up and the notifications and things like that. But whatever you have to do to get those distractions out of your way so you can get the most out of this call, and then you can get right back to those distractions after. Three is participate. We're going to ask questions, have things for you to do. We're going to actually work on some stuff together, probably as a group today. And then the fourth is just go make someone else's day. Go bless someone in the way that you've been blessed. We're really big on that, and it's very important. All right. So now let's just get into number one. We're going to dive right into it. There's going to be a lot of text and stuff. I'm going to explain most of it. If you have questions, again, drop them in the chat if it's not clear. So the first one we're going to do is a social media one, and that is the gratitude map. So you're going to post a blank. Hey, Justin, good to see you. So you're going to post a blank map outline of your city, right? You can go a little bit farther if you extend a lot. A good example is Chris Rains. He has a map and he goes all over Tennessee. So he does enough business to where it makes sense. For a lot of you, especially if you live in like a big metro city, just the city that you work in and service is good enough. So a blank map outline of your city and Canva templates. I mean, most of the time you can figure out this pretty easily to do. And then you're going to ask in that post, what's one local business, teacher, or neighbor you're thankful for this year? Tag them. Now, you've heard iterations of this before, like the teacher awards. Oh, I want to give away. This is about like getting people to think about who they really appreciate in their community. Really awesome people in their community. And notice how it's a business, teacher, or neighbor. So it's okay if this person is not a public figure. It's okay if this person, right, isn't always taking care of the kids. It could just be a neighbor who was there for you one time, or maybe you were sick and they took down the trash can and cut your lawn, right? Just getting them to think about someone whether it's a person or an entity that they're really thankful for, and dropping those in. Now, part of why we're doing this, and Chris will tell you this is an important thing, is this is one to get your algorithm boosted up. This is to get you into other people's spheres and circles, and the algorithm to say, oh, okay, we should show more of Lauren's stuff to her sphere and even to people outside of her sphere a little bit because she's getting a lot of activity on this post. So you're going to turn around and get these people tagging. If you, a little cheat code is tag some people that you know will respond, right? So if I'm making this post, I'm going to tag Chris Rains, I'm going to tag Walter Key, I'm going to tag people who I know will go and put in a little effort and kind of support me on it. You guys have, whether it's friends or family, you have people in your sphere, could be just past clients that are awesome that you could tag that will help you kind of get this going and boosting up. And if you really need to, guilty of this many times, and there's nothing wrong with it, I've direct messaged people and been like, hey, Chris, can you go do this? And Chris, well, and I still do that for each other, right? We absolutely still do that for each other. Hey guys, we're trying to do this. Can you come help me out? So don't be shy to be proactive, because for a lot of you, the algorithm has no idea who you are. You just don't really exist. And so you might post this and be like, oh my gosh, where's all my people responding? Well, there's a good chance most of your people haven't seen it yet. You need to tag some people. You might need to reach out to some people directly, and maybe even ask for some shares and support. Okay. All right. So make sure you save all those responses and locations and stuff like that. You're going to actually use it later. Okay. And why this is an awesome thing? Well, one, people just love public recognition. It makes them feel so special. And I know all you guys feel that way too. It's such a wonderful feeling to have someone go out of their way to say, hey, everybody, this person's really amazing, right? So one is just putting that really awesome vibe out there, that really positive vibe out there. And then two, it turns your post into a local conversation, right? It actually gets people talking about positive aspects of their community. And that's a very good place for you to be. Okay. All right. Now we're going to move from there. I'm going to create this little thing called the gratitude guide. Don't worry, I've hooked you up. We actually have a Canva template for you that we'll be sharing with you that we made. So it'll be really easy. And then as long as you're subscribed to the newsletter, which is free, we'll send you the slideshows and everything from this call so that it's easy. You can copy and paste from here even, and we'll just take good care of you. So you're going to make this gratitude guide, okay? And you can use ChatGPT to help you fill out the Canva template that we have for you, okay? And so the subject is going to be your city, might be Murfreesboro, Nashville, right? Chicago, wherever you are. Gratitude guide is here. Did your pick make it? So this is all about getting those people who started tagging and stuff like that. And this is a great way to get them to used to opening your emails, because while social media is great, anybody want to take a guess how much of your audience actually sees your content? So out of 100% of your audience, on average, how much does that audience, drop it in the chat, does your audience see? Lauren says 10%. Chris says 10%. Who else has got some guesses in there? Curious. Or is it just Lauren and Chris with guesses? Dana says 10 to 15. Bonnie says 35. Bonnie is a wonderful, optimistic thinker. I love it, Bonnie. Yeah, so there's a lot of different variables out there, right? One of the most common ones is between 8 and 12% at a time. But there's a lot of recent studies that are showing that it's just worse. And the injection of AI is actually messing up the algorithms so bad that it's probably going to settle right around 2 to 4%, right? So just remember basic math. You've got 100 friends. You want those 100 friends engaged with you and involved. Only 2 to 4 of them might see your post. Okay. So this is why we got to get to a place of got to get to a place of where we can reach our audience directly. So we start on social media, but we're navigating towards this email. Okay. And then we're going to send in this email. Again, this is all based off the post that you did. Last week, I asked everyone on social to share their favorite local spots they're thankful for. I took the most mentioned places and people and built a simple one-page guide for you to save or share. Okay, so all you're doing is you're just creating this little gratitude guide. Okay, and it's a local map of just the most popular places that were mentioned. And then you can also highlight some people, some just great people. Okay, you can add a little personal note if you wanted to. It's not really that big of a deal. It's up to you what you feel like you want to do. I like to add personal notes because I have no problem talking. And I get really personal with my clients. I get very deep with them. So they're used to that, right? So I am gathering my personal might be I'm gathering a list of client recommended Thanksgiving spots and traditions to include in next year's guide. If you have one your families love, hit reply and tell me. So I'm just trying to get them to be engaged more, get them to respond to the email. Now, how many of you guys know how emails work and deliverability? Anybody know what those are? So we briefly talked about algorithms and how algorithms don't show everything to your audience. Even if someone's like, I follow Chris Rains, the algorithm still is deciding every time Chris posts whether they're going to show it to Chris's audience or not. And so with emails, Google is almost like an algorithm. They're the big dogs in the industry. They're almost like an algorithm. They're deciding whether your email gets sent to Chris or not. And then if it gets sent, they're deciding whether he sees it in his main inbox, a spam folder, a promotional folder, or some other abstract filtering process, right? So getting people to respond to your emails is actually a really, really important and essential process because you need to know that when you send an email to Chris, Chris sees it. That's so important. And there are expensive services that even try to help. It's called warming up an inbox or warming up a list that help you to be seen better. So it's a very important thing. So this is a very organic way to do it. And for a lot of you, this way will be very effective because you're not trying to reach 50,000 people. You're trying to reach people that typically should have responded at some point to an email. Now, real quick note, you might go, wow, I got all these people responding on social media, but I don't have their emails. So how do I send them this? Okay, so again, I always love to use Justin. I'm going to just pretend Justin is my lead or past client, and he commented on the thing, but I have no idea what his email is. Right? So he commented on the post. That's great. He tagged his favorite coffee shop. Awesome. But I don't have his email. What do I do? I'm literally going to send Justin a short video, or if you guys are super nervous, you can do text, but a video would be better. And I'm just going to be like, Justin, dude, I love that you tagged Red Bicycle, right? Or Joanne's now. I love that you tagged Joanne's coffee shop. They are amazing. Hey, I'm making this little guide and I want to email it to you because I think Joanne's is going to make the cut. Not 100% sure yet, but I think your pick is going to make the cut. What's your email, real quick? Right? Or drop your email. I want to make sure you get the guide when it's finished. That's all. This is a great way for you to get emails from people maybe you don't have emails from. And I can't stress enough how important it is for you to be able to reach people outside of social media. You've got to be able to reach them directly. It's so, so important. And it will only become more and more important. Jonies, is that how you say it? Man. I mean, I've never actually heard the owner say it out loud. So, all right. Now, let's get to this last phase. This is kind of on its own. This is just a separate one on its own, just to remind you of what you can do. And if you have a lot of past clients, again, some of you do. For me, I had to start this a month or so in advance because it killed my arm, my hand to do this. But handwritten cards are very powerful. Real handwritten cards. We do have great handwritten services like at Epic, agents get Thanks.io. and it's got some great ones, but I'm going to be honest with you, they still do look printed, and that's not bad. But if you can, a handwritten card, what I do to make this process really simple is let's take all of my clients. I'm going to find one generic message I want to tell all my clients, right? Here's my batch of past clients. And the thing I'm going to tell them for is that I'm just so grateful that I got to be a part of their journey, of their home buying, selling journey, right? I'm going to make that part generic. But then I'm always going to have just one simple line of something unique to them. It could be anything. It does not have to be profound. It doesn't have to be that you remembered some crazy thing or elaborate, like they shared with you on a whim type of thing. It could be something so simple as Chris loves to hunt and fish. And I just be like, and by the way, it was super cool that you shared with me how much you like to hunt and fish. Just something, nothing complicated, right? Just something very simple and very easy, right? It could be, if it happened recently, the more recent, the better, because then they'll remember too. Okay. But it could be maybe that someone just got a pool installed. And by the way, next summer, that pool is going to be amazing. Just anything that just makes it personal so they know. And it hits differently when just the slightest personality is put into these cards. It just makes them feel so special, right? And so I can't stress enough that just having these simple letters. And if I can, time is not always my friend, but if I can, I actually try to deliver these in person if I can. And what I'll do is what I'll do is, let's say I get a bunch of the cards done. Okay. I put them in a box inside my car. And when I'm driving around, because most of you probably remember a lot of the areas you've sold in, right? Um, and so if I'm driving around and I kind of remember, oh my gosh, that neighborhood I just sold someone, I might send them a text right then and there. I'm going to go pick up groceries or something, and I might send them a text, right? And be like, hey, Barbara, I'm out driving, and I actually had this little card for you that I wanted to drop off. Are you home by chance? I'm just trying. If I can get a face to face with Barbara, it's a huge win. If I can't, no worries. I'm going to just end up mailing out whatever I can't deliver in person a week before Thanksgiving or whenever we decide to send these. Okay. But these cards, again, I can't stress enough. Tell me the last time you got a handwritten card from someone. Most of you used to get them from your family, even, and don't anymore. I don't, by the way. Right. I remember as a kid, like on our cabinets, we had really tall cabinets. We would tape all these cards in rows, in columns down these cabinets because that was just a thing. But now we're at this place in time where we all want a personalized touch, but none of us want to give it. The habit's not there, the culture isn't there, but we still desire the result of it. Does that make sense? And that's a great place for you to be because their dentist, their other agents they know in their sphere, their insurance, most people are not sending them any handwritten cards. They're just not. In fact, their own family. And we'll get into a bonus one that Chris, Walt, and I love to talk about that's unbelievably simple and very special. But the handwritten cards are really, really powerful. And again, just start it early. Start it early. One of the habits that I developed because I was selling a lot of homes, and then I would also handwrite some of the cards for agents on my team back when I used to share the deals with them. I would just say once it closed, I would go grab their Thanksgiving card and write their thank you note then. And I would do it alongside their closing thank you card. And now I'm done. Now, when Thanksgiving rolls around, I have something fresh from the transaction in my head, right? Because that's where we spend the most amount of time, right? In that 60, 90-day period of really being under contract and working on a sale of a home with them, that's when we typically talk the most, learn the most about our clients. And so that's when something's fresh in my head. So as soon as we close, I'm sitting down, I'm doing a post closing thank you note. And then I'm also doing my Thanksgiving one at the same time. And then I'm writing my Thanksgiving note. That's it. It's so easy. Right. Okay. And so let me do the bonus one for you real quick. We talked about this one a lot. I'm going to talk about it again in a couple weeks in December when we talk about some follow up ideas for December. Birthday videos. So much, and we can't stress it enough. On social media, you get a curated list for you every single day of exactly who to follow up with and how. And that is your birthday list. Whoever has a birthday on Thanksgiving, I kid you not, this is what Chris does. This is what I do. This is what Walt does. We've taught other agents to do this. Okay. We just send them a short little video to wish them happy birthday. And you can make it funny, goofy. I don't care. You can make it where you sing them a little bit of song. I don't care. Just be you and be consistent. And here's what's crazy is I started doing this just to test it out. And I would have strangers say that nobody had wished them happy birthday, right? Not their family. Some of them, not even their spouses. Okay. And while I could care less about whether someone wishes me happy birthday, the vast majority of the world really cares about that. This is their one day of the year, right? Where it's supposed to be about them. And people are supposed to, right, culturally, do a little bit extra to show gratitude and to show appreciation for this person that they exist. And that is a dying thing. That's why we don't get the holiday cards anymore either. We just kind of, as a culture, don't really care anymore. We just don't care about the individual anymore. And that while that's sad, that's also the most beautiful place for you guys to be in because you can be someone's light. You can be someone's pick me up for the day. You can be that for someone, and it takes so little effort. And what's even better is that there's a reward there for you. Statistically, you're just going to be remembered more. You're going to get more business. You're going to make more money, all from being just slightly more thoughtful than the average person, right? We're not talking about laying your life down on the line for someone. We're not talking about jumping out in the street, saving someone's dog. We're literally talking about sending a couple birthday videos every day and sincerely just wishing them happy birthday. I mean, really let yourself just mean it. Don't come into this with this attitude of, oh, I got to send my birthday videos real quick. Really think about this, right? This may be the only time they have someone take a moment out of their day to truly think about them. So allow yourself to just enjoy that, right? And if you can think of anything that you remember about them specifically, it's so much deeper. I've had people send me videos back who haven't even responded or engaged with my content ever, ever. And then they would be like, wow, that was so thoughtful. I've had deals that have come together from someone being like, man, thank you so much for that. By the way, my mom's moving into town and she needs someone. And obviously, it should be you. I don't have to say real estate. I don't have to talk about business. I just have to be this person who loves others. And they will feel that love. And then when I do it consistency, here's the other awesome part. There's lots of follow up that I showed you today, and you should do it. And it's really great, right? But if you just follow up with 5 to 10 people on your birthday, because most of you have not maxed out your friends list, you should, by the way. Chris and I talk about that a lot too, and Walt does. But for most of you, you got 5 to 10 people a day to wish birthday. That is follow up. And that's also one thing that you can feel good about each day doing. At least I did 5 to 10 touches through my birthday videos today. And then I wrote my thank you cards, right? And then I sent my emails, and all these little things compound on each other and they pay off. Okay. All right. So that's, I'm pretty sure it. Now, what I wanted to do with us today was kind of, oh, I thought I had another one. What I want to do to us today is kind of help you start to kind of think about what your map looks like. For some of you, you might be thinking, I'm going to do my whole state, or hey, I live in a really, really big city, right? Like LA. I don't cover all of LA. It doesn't really make sense, right? How do I choose what my map is? I don't have any visuals here for you because I actually thought of this, I think yesterday, to do for you. So let's kind of work on our maps and kind of first just start with what's the main area that I cover? Where is the vast majority of your clients in a sphere? So for many of you, just pull up like a map. You can do it on Google, you can do it on your phone, but pull up some sort of map where you can see where your area is that you service. Okay. And this is where we're going to kind of start. And again, for some people, it's going to be like Chris. He lives in a small state. Tennessee is a very small state. And then Tennessee is a very short state too. Okay. And so he covers a pretty good area because Middle Tennessee is where a lot of the population is. And he covers a pretty good area, and he has some that he goes out on. And so his map looks pretty cool. It looks pretty good on all the areas he's served. So for you guys, I would be focusing on where the majority of the cluster is of the area that you serve, because I want you to be consistent in how you build this local gratitude map. Let's say that you typically don't service someone that's 2 hours away. Well, having people do businesses that are 2 hours away, right? Tagging that, it's going to be a lot harder for you to kind of get involved in. And a lot of your audience is not going to resonate with something that's 2 hours away from them. So, do you see why keeping it kind of really local to you is important? Does that make sense? Okay. So, pull up that map and then take a look at where is the area you serve. Oftentimes, a city is the easiest way to do it. Just picking the city that you work in. Some of you will have really big cities and that won't work. But even within those really big cities, right? LA, you turn around and you say, LA, that's huge. Well, LA is really just a bunch of cities clustered together, right? So then you might pick North Hollywood, right? Then you might pick subsets of those cities, right? So even in Nashville, Nashville's a big city. Lots of agents who work in Nashville do not cover all of Nashville, but there is very specific areas within Nashville. There's Germantown and there's other different sections to where if that's the area you work, your clients will know that too. Okay. So map that out and kind of just either write down where your city is or the area that you service is. Okay, that's where you want to get. All right, and we're starting with that. And if you have questions, drop them. Give me 1 second. All right. So if you have questions, drop them. And then do me a favor, start dropping the areas you serve, the main area you serve. Again, trying to, as much as you can, fit everything into one main area. Drop that in the chat too. I just want to see. I kind of want to learn some of the main areas that you guys are serving as well. Lauren says Clarksville, TN. Perfect. Easy. Easy. Bonnie, St. John's, Jackson, Florida. Awesome. All right. So Barbara, right? Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside, San Diego. How close are those to each other? And if they're close, awesome. You can use them. If they're super spread out, we might want to kind of reevaluate it because it needs to be something that you can drive to. Because I have kind of more to share with you after we get through this of how you can leverage this gratitude map to go build relationships with the businesses on them. And that's another conversation, but I'm not trying to send too much at you guys. Okay. So let's see. Miriam, Orlando, Florida was just there. Awesome. Cynthia, Buffalo, and Eden Prairie. Minneapolis, St. Paul. We got some great people all over. Vancouver, Washington. Man, if I ever lived in Vancouver, Washington, I would have so many jokes about not being Vancouver, Canada. I would just use stuff like that all the time. It'd be great. I lived in Vancouver, actually. British Columbia, to be clear. Queens, New York. Love it. Right. So for some of you, it might be a county. A county might be a better way to summarize the area that you work. I love it. Look how many different areas you guys serve. This is awesome. This is so cool. Okay. And Bonnie, no, we're not thinking population wise. That was our question. We're thinking population wise. No, just where your people are at, right? Where are you typically serving? Where are you typically working? There's generally going to be a clustered area. You might go out to this place that's 2 hours away because it was worth it to you, but that's generally not where you're working, right? For most of us, we're working within an hour of where we live, sometimes even less if you're in a really busy city, right? With lots of traffic, right? So it's more about the area you live. And again, if you have a really big city that you live in that you don't cover at all, then it might be a subsect of that city, right? It's very common. Almost all big cities have them, right? Okay, so then as you get this kind of mapped out, you're going to want to go to Canva. Okay. And what's really cool is that there are free, I didn't put them in the list, but what I'll try and do if Misa can help me remember is um, free map services where you can literally just like draw a map um, and use it that way. We've there's a lot of different free stuff. Typically, I'll take a city and then sometimes you can just find that city, or you can even, I kid you not, like this is what I did before there were any fancy programs or apps, is I would go to Google Maps and then I would say Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Okay. And I'd pull it up. It's already highlighted most of the time when you type in a city on Google. And then I would kind of scroll in to make sure the areas I want to see are covered. And then I would just screenshot that and use it. Right. So it's not perfect. Okay. And if you're really, really struggling with the map side of things, if it's just too much, again, you can use a county. It's okay because this map is not meant to be someone's actual map that they're going to use to navigate the world. Okay. This is just meant to be almost symbolic, right? Symbolic of, hey, this is our community. And then here's these cool little dots, these little pins that we put. So Miriam asked, where do you find maps in Canva? So typically what I'm doing is I'm searching for a specific city or state. States are very easy. If you search for a state inside Canva, like you go to create a new design and you search for a state, you almost always get a wide variety of different state sizes. Okay. And then you can use those state sizes. You can even build your own map, by the way. Lashonda, yes, there will be replays as long as you're subscribed to the newsletter, which is free. It sends out on Fridays. We'll hook you up, right? But yeah, so like here's a real trick. If all of you are like struggling, you're like, this doesn't make sense, or this is too hard to map out, go to Canva, create your new thing, your new creation, your new design, and then we'll drop a newsletter sign up, Karen, for you in the chat. Um, Type in Tennessee as your state, right? And you'll just get like a blank outline of the state of Tennessee. All right. Now you should know roughly where you live on that. Okay. And if not, Google Maps, pull it up on your right screen and you'll be good. You can just drop a pin. You could drop a little circle of roughly around the area where you live, right? Where you serve, and just create your own map that way. It's super fast. It's super easy. And I really don't want you guys to get overwhelmed by this because it's way more about just creating a very simple image and then going and doing that post where you're getting people, tagging them. And again, we made in our slideshow, and again, it'll be in the newsletter. We even made the little graphic Canva template that you can use for yourself. I should have showed that to you. Let me show that to you real quick. Give me 1 second. I realized I didn't show it to you so you can see the end result that we're going for. Again, this will be in the newsletter, but let me just show it to you. All right. So I'll try and zoom in a little bit for you. Right. And so this is how simple it is. And this template is exactly what you're going to get from us. So and people charge for this normally, but we just bless you guys as much as we can, right? So this is the template. It literally says Robert's 2025 Murfreesboro Gratitude Guide. And then your top 5 most highly praised local businesses. Notice how I'm not even focused on ratings. I am not a judging thing. I'm a curator. The vast majority of people said that Big Creek Winery was the best when I made my post. And that's it, right? Great. They made the list. Okay. I added something in like this: local restaurants doing take home Thanksgiving meals. Just little helpful things. Just something to get me inside someone's life and a part of their conversations and them feeling like I'm putting in some effort to support them. And again, I did so much of the work for you. Everything else here like is so easy for you to fill in. Okay. Then we even highlighted some of the local charities because people get very, very giving during Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I actually do love our community and I actually do want people to give away more. Plus, I don't know if you know this, but people's perceptions of businesses goes up positively by about 30-ish% when they know that they support local charities. So even just me highlighting local charities changes in a more positive way people's perception of me, right? And it's good, right? Um, and then I just have a little invitation. If you want more local suggestions, let me know, right? And so this is how the template will look for you. This easy, right? And again, this will be in the newsletter for you. I just didn't show it because I forgot it and click the link for you, but we'll be sending that to you. So that's kind of the goal here, right? So again, you're making the post, boosts your algorithm, gets people talking to you, right? Opens the door to conversations. Then you're going to take those things. You're going to put them in that very simple one page. Remember, it's crazy simple and it's one page, right? That's very simple one page gratitude map. And you email that out to everybody. If you don't have someone's email, right? I don't have Cynthia's email, but she commented and she tagged someone or a business. I'm just going to send a video to Cynthia. Cynthia, thanks so much for tagging City Winery. They seem really awesome. I'm putting together this little gratitude map that I'm going to email out to everybody. What's your email? Most of the time, Cynthia's already bought in. She tagged them. She's very rarely ever going to be resistant to me sharing with her what she already opted in to do. So it's very easy. Then you send out the email. Okay. On top of that, you send out all of these personalized thank you cards. All of a sudden, people just feel good about you. They just feel good. They feel like they got a huge, wonderful dose of you. Right. So Miriam asks, are you sending this template in your newsletter on Friday? Absolutely. Got you. Debbie asks, so you don't put any real estate info at all as far as a brokerage, their address and phone number. So just so you guys know, disclaimer, always check with your broker. Okay. And I mean that very seriously. Always check with your broker. But in most cases, the way that marketing works in real estate, and honestly, often in business in general, is that if you are doing anything to solicit business, then you need to disclose your business relationship, meaning here's my brokerage, here's their info, right? But if you noticed, when you send a text message to your spouse, do you have to disclose that you're a real estate agent and you're at Epic Realty? And well, no, right? And when you do your normal Facebook posts where you're talking about politics and things like that, at the bottom, are you saying, and by the way, I'm at Epic Realty? No, right? Marketing, in most cases, again, always check with your broker, is when you are intentionally soliciting business. Now you are making a business solicitation. So now you need to disclose business information. I am not soliciting any business in those newsletters. I have plenty of other ways that I will solicit business. Don't you worry. Okay. but, but sorry. Still recovering. And so I am not soliciting business because, in the spirit of being grateful, gratitude, and then Also highlighting charities. It just will typically rub people the wrong way if you start to put business in there. That's not always the case, but oftentimes it's like you're basically saying, hey, it's all about you. But by the way, let me make sure you know it's about me. It's not bad, by the way. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying there's so many other times to solicit business. You don't have to worry about doing it this time, right? You don't have to. It's okay, right? Now, I would say that if you wanted to put your title at the bottom, right? I would get crafty when I try to bring up real estate stuff in these types of settings. I might bring up a funny real estate Thanksgiving fact to put inside the newsletter instead of just a blatant, I'm a real estate agent, send me your business type of mentality. Instead, I might just do something. Or I might even just say, your Thanksgiving real estate market update, right? If I was going to put something, I would just try to make it much more tasteful, right? Much more integrated. Just another thing I'm giving, right? Okay. All right. More questions, guys? Anything like that? Let's see. Where do you go? Okay, we covered that. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything because I know people have been talking. No, we got there. By the way, in December, I have some awesome ones I'm going to be doing for you guys for Christmas as well. Some really fun ones for Christmas. Very similar vibe to today, just totally different approach. And they're a lot of fun. So, do you guys have any questions or anything like that? Anything that was unclear, or maybe you needed, or maybe you even had some suggestions or ideas that you had? I mean, we've got a couple minutes. If not, I'm totally fine with ending early and us going and getting to work on this because next week is Thanksgiving. So you got some cards to write today so you can mail them out tomorrow. Cynthia, if I can only do Christmas or Thanksgiving, what would you suggest? Both. um, I know it sounds silly. No, that's just you. Okay. If I had to sit down and say, okay, I only have the ability to do Thanksgiving or Christmas as, some cards or something like that, I would be thinking about the one that I have an idea for that I think will have the greatest impact. And I'll give you an example of that. Okay. Um, I didn't have any great ideas for Thanksgiving a couple of years ago, but I had an idea for Christmas. I started this in 2019 and it kills it now. And I'm actually going to be talking about it. So, spoiler for what's coming up in December. But I wanted to do a funny Christmas ornament because people don't throw away Christmas ornaments. They just keep them. Like that's a cultural thing. We just keep Christmas ornaments. So I was like, okay. And I'm pretty much guaranteed that they're going to pull it out at least once a year and see me. Like no other gift I give them, I'm that guaranteed, right? So so yeah, and so I made a funny Christmas ornament that I sent out to everyone and then I asked them to take a picture of them with it on their tree. And it just went over so well. But I made sure it was funny, right? So it was COVID 2019. So the Christmas ornament was Merry X Mask, and it was a face mask, right? And it went over so well. And I just kept doing one every single year. But that's a whole different conversation. We'll get more into that. There's a lot of nuances there. But the point was, I chose that over Thanksgiving because I just felt I had a really good idea that I thought would have the biggest impact. But for Thanksgiving, I still went and sent text messages. I was too late to send postcards, but I didn't want to have an excuse. So I said, okay, well, I'm at least going to send a text message that I would have sent in the postcard. So I would copy and paste the main body, right? Hey, Chris, just wanted to say, insert generic thing, and then slight personalized note at the bottom. And I sent out maybe 1,000 of those, at that time. It's a text message. It doesn't take that long. And my job is to follow up with people. Like it's part of my job. It doesn't even matter if it does take a long time. My job is to follow up with people. So I'm going to follow up with people. Right. All right. Diane says, I buy cards at the Dollar Tree, 8 for $1.25, and they look like invitations. They are blank with a dog in front. I'm be honest, Diane, you're spending way too much money. You need to buy bulk. You need to buy 100 to, I mean, I don't know how many past clients you have. That's way too much money. And I just want to save you money. I love the idea. Dollar Tree is oftentimes not a great option. Um, they are struggling and they are upping their prices and lowering their quantity. Um, Going to Amazon, if you like Amazon, you could also probably go to a local place if you prefer a local business, up to you. But definitely go buy 100, and you could probably buy 100 for about the same price you bought those 8. Um, and you could spend a little extra. You can get more themes. A lot of them will come with both the card, the envelope, and the card itself. Some of them will even come with stickers that you can put on the back so you don't have to lick them all. Because let me tell you, I have sent out hundreds and hundreds of cards, and it gets disgusting to lick that many cards. So, yeah, not fun there. So that's what I would do if I were you. Um, and what's great too is you'll have such a surplus that you'll find yourself wanting to write more cards just to use them. And that's a great place to be. Um, you know, so let's see. Cynthia says, can you talk about the Christmas ornaments and Christmas stuff sooner? I'll see. Okay. I need to do a little bit more work on it. I wasn't planning on doing the Thanksgiving or Christmas ones um, because it's such an innate thing for me to see a holiday and immediately say, how do I get involved in this? That I kind of just didn't think about it. So I will see if I can get it done sooner, and maybe we will do the Christmas one sooner. Um, let's see. Barbie, where I said to buy them, Amazon. I mean, again, you can find a local place too if you want to support them. Just anywhere that's going to have a pretty good bulk price. Um, Diane, you should send lots of cards. If you're going to do it, you might as well go all out. And by the way, this is a trick of the trade that I can't stress enough. You guys, I am adored by people that work with me. And that is because I adore them and I show it to them. I write cards to agents that I have worked with on the other side. I write cards to their lender and my lender. I write cards to the title company. Chris, when we were at EXP, what did I do for the staff at EXP? Right? I wrote them cards. And for the ones who went above and beyond, I even sent them an Amazon gift card. I go so far and above for as many people as I possibly. I'm like, if you had even the tiniest influence on my business, you're getting a card. You're getting a card. I worked with you one time. Well, guess what? That one time still helped me pay my bills. You're getting a card. So if you go, I don't write that many cards, great. That means you're about to write a whole bunch more and you've got a huge room. I don't know who to write to. I've only done 10 deals. Well, there are 10 people per deal that you do that had their hands on that deal. Inspectors, right? Title, lenders, agents, right? There are 10 people on every deal that pretty much will touch it. Each one of them should get a card, right? Be that awesome person. I promise you, that's when you start to get these random things that feel like luck happening. All of a sudden, that one lender you talk to that one time sends you a deal, and you're like, what the crap? How did that happen? It just fell from the sky. No, it didn't. You were memorable. You made an impact, right? Like you were awesome. Let's see. I'll have a Christmas card event. They want to eat and have 2 hours to hang out. I love it. Events around holidays are awesome, especially if you can do an event that solves their problem for them, right? So, like a gift wrapping event and you supply the gift wrap. Gift wrap is insanely cheap, right? You could have a gift wrapping event where you supply the tape and the gift wrap. Okay. And a lot of people hate doing gift wrapping, they just cannot stand it. Um, Many people forget to buy gift wrap, so they have to buy it at the last second. That's another annoying thing. A lot of them think they had tape at home and then they find out they didn't. right? So that's solving a real problem, and you don't ever have to do it when it's conflicting with someone else's schedule. So that's a fun thing. Or you could just give away gift wrap. You could straight up drop off, buy bulk gift wrap tubes, small thin ones like what Tree sells, and then ridiculously cheap tape. You can buy very generic brands from Amazon that will give you a bunch of tapes, and you could just drop off a roll of wrapping paper and tape at people's houses for them and bless them. Right? This is, you see how my head works. I am looking for every opportunity to make a positive impact in someone's life because I know, one, that's just a great thing to do, but then two, the return is there. Chris is good. He does it in his own way. He's not really big on the gift wrapping side, but what Chris will do is he'll show up in someone else's life in some other impactful way. And he will constantly, I mean, one of the things I love about him most and admire about him most is he will talk to anyone and he's going to find a deal. He will talk to the Uber driver and he won't just ask them how their day is. By the end of the car ride, he's exchanging business cards with them and he's got a plan. He's telling them, here's what's happening next based off of what we discussed and what you told me you're trying to accomplish in life. Right? That's big impact in someone's life. Just go and just constantly think about that. And you'll just find the deals will flow, the opportunities will exist, and you'll just feel like it's magic. It will feel like it's magic, but it's not. It's just being intentional on a daily basis. Right. Okay. Any more questions I got for you guys? We did good. We ate up some time there. All right, so maybe next week is Thanksgiving. I'm not 100% sure if I will be here or not. So I do not know if there will be a call. Okay. Um up in the air right now. If there is a call, it'll probably be someone else covering. I'm just not 100% sure. So don't be surprised if there is no call next week. We'll try and let people know. I just don't have I'm not 100% certain yet. So fair warning on that. And then maybe what I can do is the Wednesday after that, we can do the Christmas one. That way you have more time for Christmas. You won't be doing the ornaments that you actually have to do months in advance, just so you know. Otherwise, you'll pay an absurd premium and you just won't have time. Justin, yeah, you registered once for this. And so then we use the same link every week. And we will actually re-invite you next week now that you're registered. So you're basically once you're in. Yeah. So Chris is a great point. You know, if you're doing ornaments that you yourself might put a sticker on the back for, you can buy them in bulk really cheap after Christmas ends, right in January. If you're doing custom ornaments, you want to buy during a down season from these vendors who make them, like Etsy and stuff like that, which is oftentimes where we've gotten our ornaments custom made and we try to buy during a downtime. They'll give you great rates because they need the money because nobody's making ornaments in July. Nobody's making ornaments in February. Ornaments are not part of Valentine's Day. They're not part of Easter. They're just not part. So, like early in the year is a great time to go and get a great discount. And just to give you the example of difference, one year I did it super early and I was getting about $2 per ornament, which is very good for custom. And are they, Chris? And then that's weird. Um, anyway, and then I waited too long the previous year. So remember about $2, $2.25. And then I waited too long the next year and it was $5.75 per ornament. Just do the math. I think I had 60 clients that I sent out to. And I had postage and everything. Now I still did it. I had a commitment and I keep my commitments. Um, but that's an absurd amount of money. Okay. So this is why I'm telling you plan ahead. And this is why I'm telling you now. Um, your wife is one of, well, I should have known. I should have known Amanda she would decorate Valentine and Easter trees. That's stressful. I'm stressed just thinking about it. I'm more trees to decorate. All right, guys. It's 10 o'clock. I hope you had a great call. We're gonna drop the link one more time. Means to drop the link for the newsletter, please. Everybody catch that. We'll send you replays, slideshows, templates. We'll hook you up. I may or may not see you next week. If I don't, happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for all of you guys. And I hope you go and use today and really go make an impact and just do something awesome. Okay. Bye, everybody.